Inflation concerns basically impact everybody in the United States right now. Some of us are obviously concerned about the fact that we can't afford what we could afford just a year ago, but others are concerned that maybe their profits aren't benefiting enough from this crisis. And joining me now to talk about what is happening is author, Nation magazine correspondent John Nichols. John, lovely to have you back on Ring of Fire. Obviously, over the years, you've been one of our go-to people because you're just always on top of everything. So thank you for joining me again today.
It's an honor to be with you, as always, in these challenging times.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, so many things happening in the world this week. But I want to talk because one, you've got a great new book out. But two, you had a wonderful article come out in The Nation this week where you talked about these, essentially these inflation profiteers, I guess we could call them. Because yes, we've got horrible inflation right now, but this problem is being capitalized upon by these major corporations that use this as an excuse to just ramp up their prices for no other reason than just pure unadulterated greed, right?
That's exactly right. And I think the best way to understand inflation is that it's complicated. It always is. And so if somebody says, "Oh, I've got a simple answer for you for why this is occurring," pause and step back. There's going to be more to it. And as I write about in the book, look, there are supply chain challenges that go back to the Trump administration. And when Donald Trump put Jared Kushner in charge of the supply chain as regards COVID supplies, that was disastrous. And so you can point fingers of blame there. That's appropriate. You can also, look at the reality of we've just been through an incredibly traumatic moment with the pandemic. We've got huge new challenges coming as regards, Russia, Ukraine, all the international issues. So we keep piling it up. But one of the important things to do is to pause in the midst of that and not get lost. Don't accept so many complex explanations that we miss the one core reality. And that is, we have a lot of inflation right now. We're up, prices up around 7.5% in the year from January 2021 to January 2022. And at the same time, we have record corporate profits. And again, what we see is multinational corporations announcing record profits and on the same day announcing that they're raising their prices. So this is something to understand. They are not raising their prices to get by. They are not raising their prices to deal with increased costs per se. Many of these companies making record profits are increasing their prices because they have a monopoly situation. They're in a circumstance where they can increase those prices, and they're doing it at tremendous cost to working class Americans and frankly, to the economy itself.
And the beauty of this for a CEO, right? And they're actually on the record admitting that they do this. When you have, this such rapid inflation like what we see right now, prices obviously go up astronomically. So they tack on their additional increases that go straight into, the corporate pockets. So that way, when inflation slows, prices do drop a little bit, but they're not going to hit back to that original point. But people will be happy that the prices have gone down a little bit, not realizing that it would go down even more had it not been for the artificial inflation placed upon it by the corporation. So it's a win-win for them because people are, oh, good, milk is, $3.50 instead of $4 a gallon. Well, really, it ought to be like $3.25. You're still paying that extra quarter that you weren't paying a year ago, but you've already forgotten that, and that extra quarter is just going into somebody's pocket.
I think that's exactly right. And then let's put one other element into the mix here, which is, I think, really important. Again, something I've been looking at a lot, both in the book and in a lot of recent articles, is that during the pandemic, it was an emergency situation. It still is, by the way. I'm not in the camp that says the pandemic is done. I think we have lingering challenges, and we're just one variant away from, finding ourselves back in some pretty difficult circumstances. And so, but as the pandemic was at its peak, a lot of us learned that you're just going to have to spend what it costs to do things, right? It wasn't that people were spending wildly. It was that people, recognized that it was just more difficult. Things were more complicated. Some prices did go up a lot. People started to pay for delivery of things that they in the past would have gone and picked up themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
To get this full interview and access to the complete Ring of Fire podcast archives, sign up at rofpodcast.com and become a member.